Acquiring directions towards the homestead.
Welcome, one and all, to a special episode of Superhero Stuff You Should Know. I am Quick Change Ben Wan, and I'm here with...
and Ruvius Aurelius the Third at your service.
And today we will be giving a different episode from the usual, a little shorter even, but on Saturday, June 25th, I attended the Nostalgic Nebula's Batman Returns 30th anniversary event in Hollywood, and there was so much that happened, so much information shared. I wasn't planning on doing an episode on it, but afterwards I figured I had to. So here is the promo that we have that I've pulled up on our video over here. But Nostalgic Nebula is a company read by Cody Chavez, I believe. Basically throws events celebrating anniversaries of older films, puts together screening events, Q&As with people involved in the movie. And apparently they did the 25th anniversary for Returns in a different theater, which I missed. But this is the closest thing you could get to a comic convention built solely around the Tim Burton Batman. It felt like. I was actually amazed going in because I wasn't expect. I thought like, oh, it's a screening, a Q&A and stuff. Might be some people in costume. I didn't realize the full level of what this was going to be until I walked in. So I wasn't planning on doing an episode. I just thought I would go in, maybe try to invite a few people who involved in the movie onto the podcast. But, you know, not everyone in our audience gets to live in LA and gets to go to these things. And many of them were, you know, saying, I wish I could go to this type of thing, or I wish I was in LA so far away. And I thought, you know, let's give the audience a recap or some sense of the experience. And also, you know, I'm giving you a sense of the experience too, since I know you weren't able to make it. So it's kind of a benefit for everybody on this. So this took place in Hollywood at the Montalban Theater, named after Khan himself, Ricardo Montalban. And I also think they shot The Valet on Hulu there. But I wasn't. One thing is you see how decked out they got for an event like this. Have you been to any, maybe not Nostalgic Nebula, but any of these sort of nostalgic type screenings before?
I don't think so. I went to one for what's that called? Big Town, Little China. What's the movie called again?
Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Mhm.
I had never seen it before actually, and like Will Arnett was there. It was like he was like hosting the event or something. It was really crazy. Oh no, he was at one for With Nell and I, which is like another movie. You know, with Nell and I,
Richard E. Grant, Paul McGann. Yeah.
With that movie, I had no idea they directly lifted that one character, that Rhodey, and put that character in Wayne's World 2. Like,
oh, really?
It was like the exact same character. It was kind of a side character, but still, like that was kind of eye opening. I forget. So Will Arnett was there for With Nell and I, and then Big Trouble in Little China was. I can't remember who did that, but the screenwriter for it was there. So I've been to a couple things like that. That's one of the cool things about LA. It's not just like, you know, I'm sure New York has this too, and maybe all cities to a certain degree, but like, you know, LA being the city that it is, it's definitely like just a whole city really geared towards movies.
Right.
Like, you know, like the whole fucking town. You know?
Yeah, and this is the type of place where this event would thrive, and it did. So here's the front of the theater. This is the Montalban. It says, you know, standard stuff, the marquee, Batman Returns, June 25th. But if you look at the doors have the Shrek cat on the glass.
Nice. They really went all out.
Yeah, and that's not all. So let's get closer there. On the floor, they had the Shrek cat. The floor right before the doors, and then the posters are all Batman Returns related. And they're all created, I believe, by Nostalgic Nebula. These are not in the actual movie. These are made to tie into the movie. So for the oral listeners, we have the Red Triangle Circus poster, meant to look like it did back when they were still a circus team and not a gang. In the center is Gotham Lady Perfume. It says exclusively at Shrek's department store, and it has a phone number at 1606 Shrek's. That is a real phone number that they bought that you could use to get tickets to the event. Yeah. I called it myself, and it's basically them reciting the Gotham Lady Perfume advertisement line for line from the movie when it was the voicemails on Selena's answering machine.
That's
So,
insane. You know, the number on the side of the van in the latest Stranger Things season, you can call that too, and it's the actor talking to you. Oh, it's a recording, but still.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that type of stuff. I don't usually, I mean, I don't call it every day, but like I do love that they go all out for that type of stuff. So this was amazing. And then at the end is Shrek's energy for his power plant that he wanted to build in the movie that he never gets off the ground. So that's pretty cool. And then they also give you, when you come in, I'm going to show this. Let's switch to bigger mode here. But pretty much they give you an Oswald Cobblepot for mayor sign for you to hold up. So
Wow.
I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. So I walk in and there's already 3 of the actors there who are giving out, 2 of them are giving out autographs. So let's switch over to here. Pretty much we have, from left to right, we have Gregory Scott Cummins, who played the acrobat clown who steals the mayor's baby so the Penguin can make his debut. In the center is Henry Kingi, who played the criminal Catwoman fights and claws his face. He's the most recognizable since his character didn't have any clown makeup in the movie.
Oh, right.
And then taking the selfie at the far right is Branscombe Richmond, who was the clown who takes Selena hostage in the beginning and then gets hit when the grapnel and pulls the part of the wall out. I had no idea either before looking him up before the event that was a Native American actor playing the role.
You'd have no idea. He's got full face paint. Yeah.
Exactly. So they're selling autographs. Greg Cummins, the acrobat clown, signed his for me, wrote his line from the movie. I'm not typically one for speeches, so I'll just say thanks. And Branscombe, who was, again, the clown who takes Selena hostage, he wrote his line, "You missed," on there. So,
oh, man.
Autographs were only $10 each. I'm not usually the one to sign up for like autographs at cons where it's just like you pay a whole bunch of money for it, but I'm just like, it's $10 each. They're right there. When the hell else am I going to get? And it's also Batman Returns. Like this is these are the guys who are involved with the movies we talk about all the time. This isn't just some random person just like, oh, I kind of remember that person from this thing. Like, no, these are actual people from moments I definitely remember from this movie.
When I go to conventions, people will often ask, well, what'd you get there? And I'm like, nothing. And they'll be like surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually I'm just there to walk around, go to the panels, see cosplay. I mean, yeah, there's exclusive stuff, but I hardly ever actually buy anything.
Yeah, like both of us went to LA Comic-Con. I think we just walked out more or less empty-handed because it was just like,
we didn't buy anything.
Yeah, we were mainly there for Rob Ailing and just to experience. The Leewalds for the
X-Men panel. Yeah, the Leewalds, they were great.
Yeah, but yeah, I had the X-Men book, but that's because I brought it with me. I didn't get it there, so I walked out with stuff that I walked in with. So it's not something I usually do, but for here, I'm just like, it's Batman Returns. It's different.
Yeah.
So I will be trying to find room on my wall to place that in a bit. But there weren't a ton of cosplayers. I was there in my Quick Change Bruce Wayne shirt that I'm wearing now. A couple people there recognized the shirt as the action figure, came up and talked to me a little bit about it. A few cosplayers I saw in line in the theater were there was a guy with a pretty impressive Batman Returns type of bat suit, but most of it was like Batman related cosplays, but not actual Batman Returns. I saw a bunch of Jokers. There was even a Lego Batman.
Really?
Yeah, there was a Lego Batman guy. It was pretty cool.
That's funny.
They did have their own Batman walking around in the Batman Returns suit. I believe he was Travis Yusuf, who showed up towards the end. There was also somebody in a black hoodie with Zach's Pfeiffer Catwoman on it.
Oh,
and
wow.
I wanted to go up to him and talk to him and get a picture with him, but I saw him before the screening started, and I just couldn't find him after the event was over. So unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to him and see if he like knew Zach by name or if he just got it off of the store or whatever. But anyway, they were also selling raffle tickets to win a pair of Catwoman gloves with the claws in it.
The actual ones?
I don't think they were the actual screen used one,
Okay.
but like replica ones.
Okay.
Which is like, that's pretty cool. If they had Batman ones, then sure, I would for sure get in on that because like I would want those. I don't need the Catwoman gloves. But that was cool. And then they also had a booth where you could get your face painted like the Red Triangle Circus Gang from the movie.
Man, they really went all out.
Yeah. I was amazed. And this is before I even walk into the theater. So when I walk into the theater, they're doing a demonstration of the makeup of the Penguin. And it's not just like random people in the industry, it's actually people from the movie. So
Yeah.
it's V. Neal herself who did the makeup and prosthetics.
Right.
Let's see. Let's get her over here. Yeah. So that's her working on the Penguin there. She did the makeup prosthetics on Penguin. Obviously, it's known on Danny DeVito. One of the actors working on the event, Connor Breen, is this poor guy's in 2 hours worth of makeup, I think. V. Neal
That's
said
cool.
she said that DeVito, it basically took 2 hours to get him into the makeup, and they were already like, when I walk in, he's like bald and in the the fat suit when I
Yeah.
walk in. So clearly they've been working on him for a while by the time I see him for the first time.
Right.
V. Neal she's a 3-time Oscar winner, 2 of them on Tim Burton films, Beetlejuice and Ed Wood. The third is
Oh, wow.
the masterpiece that is Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, no wonder she won the Oscar on that one. I could totally see that.
For some reason, I saw that so many times when I was a kid.
Same
man.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. Big feet, no meat. I feel good. He's doing the fucking dinosaur dance.
For a while, Pierce Brosnan was not James Bond to me. He was Stu from Mrs. Doubtfire.
I forgot. Forgot about Stu.
Because he chokes on the shrimp at the end.
Yeah.
That's how
And
he
I
gets
remember,
revealed.
like, he wants to go to the smoking section of the restaurant because she used to smoke or something. You know, there's random stuff I remember from the movie.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. It's great. So
Mhm.
V. Neal did that. Also worked on Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. So she did 3 of the Batman movies from the 90s.
Okay.
So that's, fantastic. And then Ronnie Spector was there. She's another makeup artist helping out. That's her to our right, next to the Penguin, with the dark curly hair. So she helps out. She also did the makeup for actress Kayla Emerson, who was getting done up to look like Catwoman. You can kind of see her on the right, very faintly. It's a little far away. It was kind of far back. But they do the like white makeup on her for Catwoman to sort of get her done up, and then sort of they had to kind of sew Pfeiffer into the cat suit anyway. So that's probably what they did off stage before bringing her back on in the cat suit. So. Let's
crazy.
go. Yeah, let's pay tribute to the guys who were doing this. So again, it was Connor Breen inside the suit, and other members of the makeup team, according to Nostalgic Nebula, were Chrissy Lynn, David Woodruff does the nose sculpt, Michael Sean McCracken doing the chin wrap sculpt, Steve Laporte doing the penguin teeth, Rob Pickens doing the wigs. You see here, they add the wig to him right here. Chad Edward Lee Evett doing the costume, Milo Dennison doing the body fat suit, and prosthetics provided by RBFX Studio. And so they add the big fur coat to him, the gloves, the umbrella, the top hat. They even give him the cigarette holder that he spits out in the movie. But I guess he's trying to replicate how it looked like in the poster, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we see Branscombe comes up, takes a selfie with him, and then Connor starts addressing the whole crowd using lines from the movie. And of course, everyone...
Nice.
At this point, starts holding up those Oswald Cobblepot for Mayor banners, and I realized that's why they gave it to us, so that we could play along with him as he does this. So that's fantastic. Here's these are all my pictures right now from the audience that are not like super great given the lighting. Here's a legit photo of him off his Instagram next to the posters. I mean, this is as perfect as you're going to get in terms of like Danny DeVito, Oswald Cobblepot cosplay here. So,
yeah,
just fantastic. Check out Connor's Instagram page. He's at Mad Hatter Boy with an underscore at the end to see these pictures. They're fantastic on this. So he's up there, and then they get Selena on stage looking like she did at the end of the movie without the cowl and her hair done the way that it looked there. And they also had the same hair supervisor from the movie, Yolanda Tusing. So she probably recreated that on her as well as the wig on Penguin. So that's why it looks so accurate, you know, outside of the fact it's not DeVito and Pfeiffer, but you can't really change that. So it's great. And at a certain point, you know, everybody likes this, but they're kind of here for the movie, which is interesting because for me, the movie's the least important thing about the screening because I've seen it so many times.
You have it at home. Like,
yeah. But if it was just the screening, I wouldn't have gone. But because of all the different things, I'm just like, okay, sure. Because I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, like I haven't seen it on the big screen. I need to see it on the big screen because it usually doesn't change the movie that much for me anyway. I don't really notice anything new on it, but you know, people are getting impatient at this point. And then Cody Chavez, who's running the event, walks on. He's dressed in a Riddler outfit, which, by the way, if Cody's listening, that does actually tie into the original Batman Returns script, since there's a mention of the Riddler hiring at the end. So he did find a way to tie into Batman Returns. But he announces that before they start the movie, they're going to have a string quartet on to play Danny Elfman's music.
That's amazing.
So we get treated to a live quartet performance of the Batman Returns score. Violin 1 was Lucy Liu. Violin 2 is Lisa Guzanka. On viola is Matthew Whitmer. Michaela Schmitz on cello, and Flora Chang as conductor. Apologies.
Not the Lucy Liu.
Not the Lucy Liu. That would be a hell of a get.
Yeah.
It's something like this. It's
on cello, Yo-Yo Ma was there.
Yeah.
You know.
We couldn't get Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, or Michelle Pfeiffer, but we do have Lucy Liu, Yo-Yo Ma.
Yo-Yo Ma just going to absolute town on that fucking cello, man.
Just for, a 5-minute appearance on stage for the Batman Returns.
He's playing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. People don't know why. Doesn't relate to the movie, but god damn, people are crying
really
anyway.
Cares at this point, yeah. Martin Scorsese starts conducting for some reason because he's there. He considers Batman Returns cinema. Yeah, so it's
just that one.
It's just that
in 89, that's it.
Yeah. People are kind of skeptical since they want the movie to start, but the second that the strings start playing the Danny Elfman Batman theme, everyone shuts up. And then everyone starts clapping because they're just like, oh, actually, yeah, this is fucking cool. So
this is why I'm
great
here.
Performance. Yeah. Great gothic feel to it. It's the first of many surprises. I mean, I was already surprised, but the stuff I was surprised about was stuff that they kind of already announced. I kind of knew in general who the guests were. I didn't know that they were going to be giving autographs, but I kind of already knew that in the makeup demonstration. But this was something that was not announced, so I'm like, this is fantastic. So they played the Birth of the Penguin music from the beginning when you first go up to Cobblepot Manor, and then they played the finale track where Bruce finds the cat and drives off with Alfred. So they finished that. Then the lights dim, the movie starts, and it was the first time I had seen it in a big theater with everyone. And I think what I realized then was that you don't get necessarily a different experience with the movie so much as you get a different experience when you're with an entire crowd who loves this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I hadn't experienced
diehards, man.
Yeah. It's interesting because I could tell that, like, there are the diehards. They're the ones who could say the lines with the movie. So at one point when Catwoman, Max Schreck's like, Bruce Wayne, why you dressed up like Batman? And Catwoman's like, because he is Batman, you moron. And basically a whole section of the audience said that along with Michelle Pfeiffer, which I thought was funny. But I bet like there are people there who hadn't seen it in years. Probably the people who worked on it. And there were some who probably were watching it for the first time. There was a guy next to me. He seemed shocked that when Keaton unmasked himself at the end with Selena. I'm like, well, either you forgot that was the ending or this is your first time here. It could be, people who have seen the movie bringing their friends who hadn't seen it. Like you said that you hadn't seen Big Trouble in Little China before that big screening. It's probably, other people in that same boat. It's like, you know what? It'll be cool to see this. So, just hearing different reactions, stuff that I might not have laughed at myself, but then I heard other people laughing. I'm like, oh, interesting. How certain beats play differently to other people emotionally. So that was an interesting experience. Movie ends, and then we get another surprise because a man comes out with a whip on the stage. It's Anthony DeLongis, who is basically the whip coach for Michelle Pfeiffer. He's the one who trained her in using the whip. And so we have a picture of him from behind the scenes. Nice. Doing that. So he comes on and gives his own sort of live whip demo. Again, this was not in the promo at all. So I'm just like, this is cool. He gives sort of a lecture on the whip inflicting pain. And he said originally Tim Burton wanted to use the cat of nine tails because, it's cats. It fits and stuff.
Oh, right.
And DeLongis is like, please don't. All you can do is just pose and hit things. Here's what you can really do with a whip. So that's why she doesn't have the cat of nine tails in it. She has, a regular whip. I mean, I don't know the specific terms for different whips. I'm sorry, but I'm no whip expert.
No, yeah, I have a coworker. I have a coworker that is into whipping, like I don't know what you call it, like sports whipping or whatever. There's competitions, and he's taught some big name people too, like this guy.
Yeah.
Kind of here and there. It's not his main thing, but I asked him about this movie, and he said that like this is some of the best whipping on screen ever.
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer just really nailed it with the whipping. And, you know, not that they needed to copy that exactly, but it was something a little bit missing that from, you know, the Batman maybe. But maybe we'll get in the next one, you know?
Well, yeah,
So,
and then other interpretations. I mean, she didn't even have a whip in The Dark Knight Rises, too.
yeah, she
Just
didn't. And I know she did have a whip. Zoe Kravitz had a whip and she
Mhm.
used it, but you didn't really see it too much. It's like under the car and then she just wraps it around her hands,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's only for like a minute or so. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same. And I think you got big shoes to fill when it comes to this, not just this
Yeah.
role, but specifically this part. Because for those who don't know, okay, Michelle Pfeiffer has doubles for fighting. So Kathy Long
Yeah.
was one of them. Obviously, the big gymnastic move when she shows up in front of Batman and Penguin and says meow, like that's another double. But Pfeiffer did all of the whip work herself.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, she does it herself.
It is,
Yeah.
which makes sense because like you couldn't really see anyone else do it anyway. With shots like this, it's of her face the whole
right,
time.
right,
So
right.
it has to be her, and she insisted actually on doing it herself to give another layer to her performance, and also knowing that you could kind of tell anyway if it's not her when it's like this type of shot.
Definitely,
It's
definitely.
it had to be her, and so originally she had 6 weeks to train, but they ended up getting even more time due to changes in the production. It sounded like so. Not only did Anthony DeLongis help train her, but he also helped choreograph the whip movements on the set. Sometimes on the day of, he was talking about how
Hmm.
he would show up on a set and he would look around the set and tell people where to move certain things based off of like what he think might be too distracting for Michelle's peripheral vision or things that might get in the way of the whip, all that type of stuff. And these are things you
Hmm.
just don't think about when you're just like, oh
Definitely.
yeah, he trained her in the whip and that's about it. But in terms of like the mechanics and stuff and certain movements, those are things that I had no idea about until he started going in detail. And you just have to appreciate in that moment just the level of care that comes into this stuff. I mean, making movies, they're hard, and we know that. And I think people,
Dude, it's like
it's an
one of the hardest things.
understatement.
It's one of the hardest things you can do, man.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, and so to have this level of talent on there and to figure that type of stuff out and to have that, even just have it made, no matter what the quality is, but even just have it made is sometimes a miracle. So it's cool that he was not only just a part of training her, but also a part of the production, a part of choreographing what could happen with the whip, all the different things she could do, which is probably why it's unlikely that this is going to be topped, at least when it comes to the whip work for Catwoman, because there's just so much of it in here, and it's so creative and it's so like well done due to a lot of what he and Michelle Pfeiffer brought to the table. He also brought up that he's the one who choreographed this scene where Catwoman like throws the chair with one hand at Batman while having the whip in the other, and she like sort of uses the whip to grab around the Ice Princess.
Hmm.
Apparently, the entire move, that stuff he came up with on the day of when he was not originally meant to be working. Tim Burton told him like, we don't need any whip stuff today, but then he saw an opportunity, told Michelle Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer insisted on on having Tim Burton use the idea, shot it in 2 takes, and they got it.
Wow.
Incredible.
That's amazing.
She's also famously, I mean, I don't remember if they brought it up specifically, but it's a famous moment where she's using the whip and she whips off the heads of the mannequins.
Yeah.
Famously done by Michelle Pfeiffer, 1 take. First take.
That's insane, man.
So it's just how well he trained her in that shit. So it's amazing.
Doing
he also-
multiple takes back in the day too was
Mhm.
expensive because it was a film, right? So like
Yeah, and it's also
like
like
like these
the
days you can
mannequin
take
heads. Yeah.
mannequin heads, you got to reset them and all that.
Mhm.
Like I've heard from older people in the industry like it was more expensive, but there was something to that, like, we gotta get this fucking take.
Right.
We don't have any more fucking film to
Mhm.
spare.
Yeah.
Now we got digital, we got hard drives, we can do like a
Yeah.
bajillion takes. But back in
Mhm.
the day, it was like there was this real urgency
Yeah.
to get that take, or at least not one take every time, but like we got 3 tries here, guys. Stuff
Mhm.
like that. Probably.
Right. Yeah. I don't even know what would have happened if she got like one of the heads but didn't get the other two. It's just like, all right, do you just get another mannequin? Do you re-glue the head on the first one? Like, I don't know what their backup plan was on that, but they didn't need it.
They might have had several mannequins, who knows? But
yeah,
just there's a lot more urgency than now, though, no matter what it was.
Yeah, that's true. And then he also brought up that there's the part when Catwoman confronts the security guards at the Shrek store, and then she sort of wraps the whip around herself. It wraps around her body, and the remaining sort of comes out. And that was sort of his idea, because the remainders that sort of hangs, for lack of a better description, but basically hangs past her butt. It kind of serves as a makeshift tail, because there's no Catwoman tail on this outfit. So that the whip sort of served as the tail, which I've never noticed before over the years of watching this movie. To be fair, it's only in like this one shot, and it might be in some other part of the movie, but it's not like she's not walking around like that the whole time. And there's not a lot of emphasis on it, but it's a great creative idea, and sort of the idea of the whip sort of moving like a cattail in general was something he brought up. So just amazing to hear just the level of care of not only good whip work, but also how that would relate to the character of Catwoman was just fantastic to see. And also just to see him do it, because this dude is a master at it. You do not want to mess with this guy. He's a weapons expert, not just in the whip, but just in other things. He brings up his wife, who's a doctor, Dr. Mary DeLongis, and he demonstrates how to use the whip on somebody by wrapping it around someone without actually like hurting them with the tip and stuff. So it's just him and her on stage. He's doing the whip. It wraps around like her arm, her leg, all sorts of other places, even around her neck, just to show that. And he even demonstrates that on the Catwoman that they brought up of Kayla.
Oh, nice.
So he does the same stuff. Extremely impressive skill. And he brings up that to him, Pfeiffer will always be the greatest Catwoman. And to be fair, hard to disagree. Very hard to disagree on that.
It's hard. Yeah, it's tough, man. Like I feel like, she's like it's like, I want to say Heath Ledger, but also Jack Nicholson. She just kind of owns that role still.
She does. Yeah.
No offense to other people, but I think no one's going to take offense.
No, other people especially when you hear about this with the whip work, and you're just like, they did not have to do any of this. Right? They could have found other ways or rewritten parts to not even really use the whip, or she just cracks it once and that's it. But the fact that they went this far is kind of like what I keep saying about the OnStar commercials. Like, you did not have to go this hard on this, but thank God you did.
Yeah.
It's why she has a legacy that she did, apart from, and that's just one element compared to just a fantastic performance. So it just really shows, it gives you a lot more appreciation for this movie. So it's at this point they bring out the chairs for the Q&A, and the different tidbits revealed here are what really convinced me to turn this into its own episode. And you guys are going to find out about that after the break.
On the Hardcore Gaming 101 podcast, we ask the tough questions. Killing a Rayman, whatever that may be, is that really so bad? Like,
no,
is he even alive? Like, do we know? Does
he
have any desires, Cal? Does he have any dreams? We're ranking the top games of all time, and it's not a task we take lightly.
There are 3 Battletoads, Rash, Zitz, and Pimple. They're all skin problems, guys.
2 of them are the same skin problem. This has always bothered me. Zits, rash, and eczema. You know what I mean? It's like, even that makes more sense. Hardcore Gaming 101. Twice a week, every week. Subscribe at greenlitpodcasts.com.
We're the Spirit Hunters, and we're a show that treats Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho's author as the center of the universe. Some weeks we do linguistic analysis.
So the Chinese meaning of this character is to smelt or refine, but so the changed meaning in Japanese it means to temper.
Other times we get absolutely smashed.
So we take one shot every time. Yusuke uses the ray gun.
1 hour later.
This is the least coherent episode. Sarah,
I think your apartment is haunted.
I think you're drunk.
You can find out more about the Spirit Hunters right here on the Greenlit Podcast Network.
Lord have mercy, y'all. Do you like hounds? Do you enjoy pooches? Do you find yourself enjoying time spent with that of canines? Talking about dogs, y'all.
As you might have heard, Superhero Stuff You Should Know has now teamed up with BarkBox. For every month, you get a box for your special canine.
Pooches.
Or hounds.
That's right. One free extra month if you go to barkbox.com/superherostuffpod.
Follow the link and you'll get a free extra month valued at $35 and valid for all multi-length plans.
So get the BarkBox for your hound, for your pooch, for your canine.
Your doggo will thank you.
Gentlemen, all men strive for gold in their life, right? Gold medals, gold watches, gold everything.
However, there is a certain type of man who goes the extra mile. He walks with the confidence of an eagle and giggles in the face of danger.
He's a big, hairless winning machine. And when he unzips his pants, he sees platinum.
That's right. Manscaped would like to introduce you to their best and biggest ultimate hygiene bundle yet, the Platinum Package 4.0.
Manscaped is the leader in below-the-waist grooming. Now trust them with the whole shebang. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code Johnson's Ballsack.
Yes, use Johnson's Ballsack and use Manscaped. It'll help your confidence and, to basically cut to brass tacks, it'll make your dick look bigger, guys. It'll just make the Johnson look bigger. That's all you need to know.
It'll make your dick seem bigger. I don't know how to make it clear. So Johnson's Ballsack, that's the code at checkout at manscaped.com.
Manscaped's brand new Platinum Package 4.0 is the biggest bundle they've ever offered, giving you a bulk discount on Manscaped's top product.
The Manscaped Platinum Package 4.0 is the one-stop shop for the man who deserves it all. They designed this package to allow you to fully align your entire hygiene routine with elite products.
Inside this Platinum Package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Ultra Premium Body Wash, Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo plus conditioner, Ultra Premium deodorant, Crop Preserver anti-chafing ball deodorant, Crop Reviver ball spray toner, anti-chafing boxers, and the Shed travel bag to hold your goods while traveling.
The Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer and Weed Whacker nose and air hair trimmer feature proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to protect your delicate parts and holes. Both are waterproof, so you can shave with less mess.
In addition to shaving, you can now completely upgrade your shower routine with the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. You'll have your skin and hair feeling hydrated and smelling fresh.
Don't forget to apply their aluminum-free, ultra-premium deodorant for that cologne-quality scent on the go. But it's not just your pits that stank. Your balls can stank too.
Thankfully, their Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner can solve this problem for you. Once they touch your sack, you'll never go back.
Tone the balls, y'all. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Platinum Package 4.0. The Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort in boxers to another level.
The Platinum Package 4.0 covers all the bases from head to toe. The best bang for your shebang.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Johnson's Ballsack at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code Johnson's Ballsack. It's time you enjoyed the finer things in life and get yourself a Platinum Package for your Platinum Package.
Eliminate clutter and embrace the freedom of HyperX wireless gaming gear for PC and console.
Power through all the great monthly PlayStation Plus games with the Cloud Stinger Core Wireless for PlayStation.
Enjoy lightweight comfort with a reliable wireless freedom so you won't miss plot points when you head to the fridge.
High-quality HyperX wireless products can be found at most fine retailers, as well as online at Target, Best Buy, and Amazon, or you can shop for them directly at hyperx.com and hp.com.
Acquiring directions towards the workplace.
And just like Batman, we return to talk about the rest of the Batman Returns, the 30th anniversary nostalgic Nebula event. That's a mouthful to say. So, so they bring out, they're ready for the Q&A. They bring out basically chairs that line up the entire stage. And the first thing that they bring out is not a person, but this bat suit that I have on the left.
They bring out a shitload of cats.
They should have.
And they can walk all over your face.
And bring you back. They can heal you from anything,
They can,
including a fall from a great height.
They
So
start like those televangelists, like healing people. Anyway, yeah.
So-
I can heal what ails you with these 500 cats on stage.
So they bring out this Batman costume. It's not the full thing. It's basically from the torso up and part of the arms, but definitely like the cowl and the symbol and the ab stuff. So I took a picture of that. And then on the right, they bring out the moderator, who's Deverell Weeks. And the first guest they announced is Daniel Waters himself, screenwriter of the film. So he comes out. He's noticeably wearing a shirt that says "Hell Here" in pink, as you see after the lit up sign in Selina's apartment. So that was very on point of him, of course.
Pretty incredible.
And he brings up that this was, out of the 30 years since this movie, this was the best crowd. Maybe he was just saying that, but he said this was the best crowd that he had seen it with. Because we have to keep in mind, back in 92, Warner Brothers was not loving it like the people in that room were last Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It made money, though, right? They just didn't...
It did, but like it still got complaints, and McDonald's was just like, what the fuck? And, McDonald's was the big money with merchandising. So it's partially because of McDonald's that we got the directions we got.
The power that McDonald's wielded in the 90s. They long for those days once again.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it never to return. Thanks to that Super Size Me guy. I forgot his name.
Me too. So Daniel Waters, the three actors I mentioned before, Gregory Scott Cummins, Henry Kingi, Branscombe Richmond, V. Neal, Ronnie Spector from makeup, Yolanda Tusing from hair, Anthony DeLongis at the whip. Again, apologies if I butchered people's names. There was also Shane Mahan, who sculpted the penguin prosthetics, Tom Duffield, the art director, Rob Berman, a makeup artist and mold maker who went uncredited on the movie, Andy Schoenberg, who was one of the puppeteers of the penguins. There was also actor Steve Whitting, who played Josh, the guy whose nose was gushing blood after getting bitten by the penguin. So
that guy. Oh, man. Yeah.
He was there too. And there were a couple people announced who weren't there, unfortunately. Joan Jamarco, who played the woman Catwoman Saves in the Alley from Henry Kingi. She was announced, but unfortunately she wasn't there. And this was my biggest disappointment that he wasn't there, was Dave Lee, who was the Batsuit double who did the martial arts. Unfortunately, he, for whatever reason, I don't know why, he wasn't there. Probably scheduling issues, whatever. But there are so many people, as you can see, that they did not have enough chairs.
Right.
The actors decided to just stand in the back and let everyone else sort of sit, which is very noble of them. But also down to necessity, because they just didn't have the number of seats for them. So we got them, but then we also got a video message from somebody who couldn't make it, and that was Doug Jones.
Oh, nice.
Doug Jones sends a video message. So Doug Jones was the thin clown from the Red Triangle Circus Gang, and he basically had. At first I thought like, oh, it's just going to be a nice like, hi, I'm Doug Jones and happy anniversary, and that was it. No, this was like a 5 to 10 minute video from him.
Wow, that's
sharing. Because I guess if he couldn't make it, then he might as well just talk about like give what he would have said. So he talks about how he got the part in Batman Returns, because like this is early in Doug Jones' career. This is before he's part of the Guillermo del Toro movies. This is way before Pan's Labyrinth, and
this is his first gig, right? One of his, because he was
practically one of his first gigs, and so
he was in that McDonald's commercial. Remember that old one with the moon head, dude? It was like
he Moonhead.
He was either Moohead or somebody in that. Like,
gotcha. Okay,
it's a pretty cool commercial, but that's like definitely a relic from the early 90s.
Jesus.
Maybe late 80s. But yeah, he's in that. But I think this might have been his first movie.
I think so. So he shares, but it's part of his big break. And he did not go through the casting department. He went through the stunt department at first. So he thought he thought that basically he would be in a sort of sight gag in the movie, because he has a history, for those who don't know, as a contortionist. So he thought,
Right.
oh, like it'd be cool if there's like one moment where I'm like doing something and then that's it. And so he has a friend who's part of the stunt department who says like, hey, you should go meet this guy, show off your skills. So he demonstrates his contortionist skills. And the guy he's auditioning for says, all right, hold on a second. Comes back in with Tim Burton. And then he's like, all right, do it again. So Doug Jones, now a lot more nervous, does the skills again. And then Tim Burton's like, all right, you got the part. And Jones is like, what part? Because he thought he was just going to be on for like a second. And turns out that's when they hired him for the Thin Clown, who's seen throughout the movie and helping the gang take over the Batmobile. He straps the dynamite to himself in this shot. He gets punched by Batman. Ironically, I don't think the Thin Clown does any contortionist stuff in the movie.
I don't think
Maybe
so.
it was cut. Yeah, I don't remember it. Even like this was right after I'd seen the movie. I'm just like, does he do stuff? Because you can see it happen because it's Doug Jones, but I don't remember a specific point in it. So it's kind of ironic. But he's on the set for 14 weeks, and ends up, he had a few stories about DeVito, Christopher Walken, Michael Keaton that are honestly better to hear from him. On stuff because it's very delivery based, but in the end he brings up Returns. It's part of his it's definitely a special place in his heart, and it is his favorite Batman movie, of course, for I think obvious reasons. Since it was the one he got to be a part of.
I wonder why. Yeah.
But I think many people who were there who might have worked on multiple ones, maybe they feel the same way. I don't know, but for him, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the rest of the Q&A then. So each person gets asked one question each because, mind you, right, this is an event that starts, doors open at 5, and then 6 o'clock was when the screening was supposed to start, but it probably started closer to like 7. Or maybe I'm wrong on that. 6 o'clock was when 6 o'clock was when they started they showed the makeup stuff on the Penguin and the whole pre-show stuff. Then 7 o'clock was supposed to be the screening. But that ran a little late, and then we had the whip experts. So by the time they start this Q&A, it's like 10:30, I want to say. And so each person gets asked one question each because like they want to take advantage of everyone there, but they don't want to keep everybody there past like 2 a.m. Because that would be very long. Because I was wondering if they're going to do any like questions from the audience type of thing too, like a convention, but there was just. When you look at the time, you're just like, there's no way they're going to allow for that. So each person got one question each. So I'll try to go into each of the answers. Daniel Waters talked about how he got the role of the screenwriter on this and mentioned that the studio dictated that the villains were going to be Penguin and Catwoman. He had no say on what villains they were going to keep or do, which is I think is something we've brought up before on here. Is something that I think I had read but hadn't. Like I couldn't pull up a direct quote yet, so it's good to hear it from right directly from the horse's mouth here. So Waters and Burton clearly fascinated by Catwoman, no shit, based on what we saw in the movie. They were not fans of the Penguin character from the '60s show. They just thought, he's kind of lame with his tuxedo and umbrellas and stuff. But when the idea came along of turning him into more of a monster, an outcast, that type of stuff. Obviously that appealed to Tim Burton because that's his bread and butter.
Definitely.
So
I can turn him into an outcast? All
I
right.
can see this. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So Waters directly said something that I think all of us have always felt, which is that if Batman '89 is a Batman movie that happened to be directed by Tim Burton, Batman Returns was intended to be a Tim Burton movie that happened to have Batman.
That's how it always has felt.
Yeah.
You get the full Burton in this movie.
Yeah. And
for sure.
It's Waters was basically confirming, and he probably has before, but he was confirming live that was intentional, that it was absolutely what it was meant to be. So that was cool to hear. We got to hear from Ronnie Spector as well as V. Neal on the different makeup ideas. So Ronnie Spector brought up that she was asked to make Selena Kyle's lipstick look like dripping blood, giving her kind of a vampire type of look, which I heard that. I'm like, there's no surprise there. It looks like that. They succeeded on that. And there's a sort of rare behind the scenes photo from Ronnie Spector's Instagram, actually, of Michelle Pfeiffer from the ending, with her hair all done up and with the sort of blood like lipstick. So that was cool.
Epic.
Yes. They also brought up the Red Triangle Circus Gang and a tidbit from a character standpoint that these characters sort of miss being in the circus. So That's why they never take off their makeup, and that's why the makeup looks really old and caked on their faces, as you can see on the one on Greg on the left. So that must have been interesting from a makeup standpoint, because you're not just doing a standard clown makeup. You have to make it look like it's old clown makeup.
Yeah, they just put it on every day.
Yeah. So that was interesting to hear. I'm just like, oh, that's how that's why it feels that way. It sort of has that effect.
Did clowns scare you as a kid?
Not really, which is surprising considering the fact that like we grew up with Batman '89 and Ronald McDonald and It. You know, I didn't see It until I was an adult, but I saw like pictures of it or different, maybe different clips on TV every now and then. But yeah, I don't think I was ever scared of clowns. I don't think I ever found them funny either. I was just kind of about them.
I never was afraid of them either. I just always thought they were lame. But like the scary clowns like this are cool.
Yeah.
The one, you know, and It and all that. I never saw It either until, well, I've never seen the old one. I'm sorry, Internet. I saw the new one. I apologize already.
It's worth it just for Tim Curry.
It was 2 or 3 VHSs, man. I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, no.
That was a long ass fucking horror movie.
These days you can just stream it, you know.
Yeah. I didn't watch those 2 VHSs too often.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in the library, being like, I don't know if I want to watch that much of a horror movie.
Don't know about that. Yeah, I know. That's how I was. Yeah.
So that was again a tiny detail you don't think about, and then when it's revealed to you, you're just like, oh yeah, like that. It really shows just the level of care taken for this movie. So in charge of hair is Yolanda Tusing, who brought up that many of the cast members wore wigs. Penguin had hair extensions, of course. Paul Rubens had a wig as Tucker Cobblepot. The Poodle Lady had a wig, but most surprising person to have a wig, I shit you not, was the Poodle. No, was the Poodle.
Oh. The Poodle. Well, the Poodle looks like it now that you mention it.
Yeah. So I know we joked before on April Fools about doing an episode built around the monkey. Arguably, the Poodle actually has more of an interesting story for a deep dive. So let's go into this. This Poodle in real life is named Darla, and she appeared in several movies. She was previously in Tim Burton's Pee-wee's Big Adventure as the Pink Poodle.
Wow. It's the same one.
Yeah, you can't even tell it's the same dog. One's in pink and the other's in ridiculous amount of,
Did they paint this dog? This would never happen these days.
They must have, because how else do you achieve that?
This is why PETA, not that I love PETA, but this is why PETA was made. Like, they painted this dog sherbet pink or whatever.
Now, this dog also, like, I'm going to show you a third picture. It's not going to look like the same dog, but apparently it's the same dog. She was also Precious, the dog belonging to Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. Wow. So
this dog has range, man.
Prolific career as a dog actor. And so since Tim Burton had worked with this dog in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, he wanted the dog back for Batman Returns.
It's like, this dog is an outcast like me.
So the problem was the dog had been shaved at the time for whatever reasons, potentially health reasons. So maybe because he'd been dyed
goddamn pink out of his fucking hair.
I was thinking about that too until I saw that it was also the same dog in Silence of the Lambs. So unless that wasn't the natural hair either, then maybe. But it's just like, maybe we shouldn't have dyed her pink. I don't know. But they gave a wig for the dog as well as a spandex suit with hair extension on it. So all the hair on this dog is fake in the movie.
Wow.
I thought like maybe some of it. No, all of the hair on the dog is fake.
That nose is real, though, right?
That nose is real, though. Yeah,
the nose is real.
The snout is real. Yeah, I would think so. But I think the curls on the poodle.
Okay, yeah.
Sadly, her name was Darla. Darla died the year of the release of Batman Returns in 1992. So this was actually her last role.
Does her progeny live on somewhere in Burbank?
I don't know. Maybe that dog's granddaughter can be Colin Farrell's poodle in the Penguin HBO Max series.
Did she choose career over family?
I don't know.
Is that what happened?
Maybe. But yes, rest in peace, Darla.
Rest in peace, Darla. Put that on the Twitter. Everyone's gonna be like, "Who the fuck is Darla?" Well,
with this
it was
picture
a dog in
and just to see it.
1993. When this movie come out in 92?
1992, died in 1992 as well. Later that year. So her final role, rest in peace.
Oh man.
So the art director Tom Duffield was there. I teamed up with him to figure out the parking situation at the end of the night. I did not have a chance to invite him on the podcast because we were on a completely different mission at that point. But Tom Duffield was art director for Batman Returns, but brought up that he and his team were originally supposed to work on 89. However, Warner Brothers was just like, it's getting, well, probably John Peters, honestly, but Warner Brothers or John Peters was just like, it's going to be cheaper to do it in England. So they decided to just use English crew members there, which
got
led
more
us
spiders in England, and I'm gonna find a way. By God.
To be fair, that did lead us to get Anton first when they did that. So
that is true.
You know, it still worked out. I think it worked out for the best. You know, we got the Anton first, Nigel Phelps vision along with Peter Young, and they got the Oscar for that. And then we got the intended team in Batman Returns here with Tom Duffield. So that was pretty cool. He brought up that they wanted to try everything on stage, which is similar to what they did in Pinewood, except now it's in Burbank, in the Warner Brothers studios. And they spent $1 million alone on refrigeration on the set.
Oh my
so it
God.
was actually cold. It was not just fake snow, but it's really just a sunny day in Burbank type of thing. Like, no. It's a sunny day in Burbank outside, but when you walk in here, you're in Gotham, and you're at snowy time in Gotham. Because Tim Burton wanted to see the breath of the actors, or at least for as long as the refrigeration lasted, because apparently, even though they spent $1 million on this and the actors are freezing for a bit, I think he described it as like someone opened a door and ruined it. So it didn't last very long, despite all the money that got sunk into it. So that was kind of one of those like insane Hollywood nitty gritty crew member stories in there. You're just like, Jesus, the amount of money to spend.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. But he brought up that the only thing they kept from 89 that we, of course, can recognize is the Batmobile. They kept, the Nigel Phelps, it wasn't Nigel Phelps who developed it. I forgot the guy's name. I'm sorry. It was not Anton first. But the original Batmobile from 89. Otherwise, they went for a neo-fascist look, he called it, to the city, where the government buildings are like so big it makes the people feel small, is how he described it. And one Easter egg I had never thought about before was the Hall of Records is the place where Penguin is sort of looking up. He's making his list of all the firstborn sons and that type of stuff. I had never noticed this on the face. The face is Elvis Presley.
What?
On the Hall of Records as an in-joke, because it's the Hall of Records. So they just threw that in there as
Great
a joke.
joke, guys.
It's a joke if you read into it and you notice it. You actually notice it. But like I was just like, wait, what? And then I had to look this up when I got home, because it's not something I was really looking at when I was watching the movie. So that's another Easter egg that they told us I would not have known before going to this. Again, this is why I was just like, dude, we got to turn this into an episode, because I just thought it was going to be like, oh, like, how was your experience like making this movie? Not like specific Easter egg type shit. So
that is cool.
I was on my phone the whole time taking notes, because I'm just like, I got to get all this stuff. So
good job. Yeah, that's awesome.
And luckily that was for a Q&A, right? I could do that, as opposed to I couldn't really do that when the movie was screening, because the brightness of the phone, people were going to get annoyed. But luckily with this one, like it was natural to do that. So that was for the art direction. Andy Schoenberg was the puppeteer who was there. Talked about how in the scene where DeVito's Penguin is addressing the Penguin army, it consisted of, I quote, 3 dozen real penguins mixed with 3 dozen puppets that needed 40 puppeteers just to pull this part off.
That's why they needed the refrigeration on set.
Partially, yes. Andy Schoenberg actually brought one of the puppets, as you can see on the right, for people to see on that. People were just like, could you show the puppet? And so they show the penguin on that. So that's him on the right, as well as the Batman who showed up in the Batman Returns suit. That he was moving around a lot, so it was difficult to get a good picture of him on the left. But if anyone has a better picture of the Batman, send it over to a Superhero Stuff Pod on Instagram. But then they went to the actors, and the actors all had, these guys all had really funny stories about working with Pfeiffer, DeVito, Walken. Some of them I think are better if you were to hear them from them, because of just how it's very delivery based. Henry Kingi who played the criminal who gets like his face slashed by Michelle Pfeiffer, he brought up that he rehearsed with her a lot. And then when it came time to shoot it, she shows up in the cat suit, and he hadn't seen her in the cat suit before. And he is so distracted by seeing Michelle Pfeiffer in the cat suit, he forgets the entire thing, and they had to rehearse it. So,
wow.
Incredible. But the biggest story was Steve Whitting, who plays Josh, the guy who gets his nose bitten. So
look at this frame, man. God. Such a. I mean, just because he's dressed like this, I'll say this: such a punchable face.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. Yeah,
biteable face.
Yeah, but he seems like a great guy in real life. Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to talk to him because he was the one actor up there I did not get a chance to talk to. If you're there, Steve Whitting, we'd love to do an episode.
Yes.
Nose gushing blood, the Josh deep dive is what I would call it.
I was part of the reason McDonald's was mad.
Probably, yeah. We can talk to him about that.
I was a very big reason why Burton never worked on Batman again.
Yes. So Steve played Josh, the guy who gets his nose bitten, and he talked about how like he was very new to Hollywood, and he thought he could improvise a little more during the scene, and that apparently pissed off DeVito. And so DeVito tried to get back at him by eating more raw fish. Apparently, DeVito was actually eating the raw fish as
People
Penguin.
Went absolute ape shit on this movie. We had Pfeiffer eating a real fucking bird.
Yeah.
Putting it in her mouth at least. He's fucking eating something that's supposed to be sushi, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know, Hollywood was a different place then also. You know?
Yeah.
There's
like
a bunch
days
of maniacs.
It would be like CGing some of the stuff, you know?
And it would
But
just be like actual, just regular sashimi in place of
yeah,
of whatever he was eating.
in place of the raw fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess he was eating the raw fish to get back at Steve Whitting here because he had to bite his nose, and of course he's going to get close to the guy's nose with having literal fish breath. But DeVito gets his comeuppance because the effects crew rigged the blood incorrectly on Steve Whitting's nose. So when they're just like, and action, DeVito goes in, bites him on the nose, and a pint of fake blood goes right into DeVito's mouth. Probably has the same expression that he has here. So
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, it's there's more details of the story that would be if we get Steve Whitting on, he can go even further on that. But I just thought that was amazing, and he brought up that he thought DeVito just hated him, but plot twist, DeVito casts him in his movie Hoffa after this, and they end up working together.
Nice,
so
yeah.
It's a fantastic story. I'm just like, Jesus, like, yeah, like these actors, they're only in a few seconds or like a minute or so in the movie, but they walk away with such great stories about stuff that I hate to say you don't expect, but you almost don't expect because you're just like, well, how long could they have been on? Because they're only just in like one scene, but they have like a ton of stuff to talk about. I'm like, okay, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. And so, as I said, this really felt like a convention for Batman Returns. I mean, they did kind of this as like a photo op on it, and like just look at the lineup here that we got.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we got you can see Penguin, Catwoman, Batman, and the Riddler with Cody in there, and it's just amazing to see. So, great night. And after the Q&A, I of course had the opportunity to talk to a few people. I got some shots. These are my other attempts of getting to the Batman, but I also wanted a shot of the bat suit that they had up there. We already showed that there's great Penguin pics on Instagram as of this recording, but if anyone has better pictures of Catwoman or the Batman there, again, Superhero Stuff Pod on Instagram, send it over. I was a little busy trying to talk to people involved with the movie instead of with the people who were in character. I know one of our fans, Yeet Isak, was there, and he said he saw me but missed me, unfortunately. But I did get, I'll show this, a picture with Daniel Waters, who signed my Oswald Cobblepot for Mayor poster. So
that's awesome, dude.
We had a short conversation there. So that was...
There he is.
highlight of the night. So I'm sure you're wondering if you're going to see some of these people on the podcast who sort of flesh out their stories. And so all I have to say is wait and see. But, if you look at how many people were there, people were trying to, clear out before the event wrapped at 11:30 at that night. If you were at this event and you were part of making this movie, I did not have a chance to talk to you. We'd love to have you onto the podcast, especially this year is for the 30th anniversary. everyone had great stories. It was a fantastic event. I wish there was time to talk to everybody, but there just wasn't, because it was getting late and everyone was trying to get out. So I had to prioritize who was around and stuff. So that is it, and that is superhero stuff you should know. Well, all the visuals came from me this time, but big thanks to Dan anyway for providing QC and the promo thumbnail anyway, because
emotional support.
It felt wrong to not have at least a slide to say thank you on this, even though obviously this was kind of the one time where I'm just like, I got to do all this. Like, there's no way. Anyway, let's see. I have the shoutouts here, but I fucked up. I should go to the comments.
Oh yeah, what are you doing, man?
What am I doing? I was too distracted trying to get this event going. So
Batman, but real quick, Batman Return. Just want to say this since this is episode. I probably said this before, but like Batman Returns was the first Batman movie I saw in the theater. I'm pretty sure I did, but dude, I was so young. I don't really remember the screening, but I'm pretty sure I saw it because I was in second grade in '92. I'm sure I saw it.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh, I think I read, or at least partially, but the novelization for Batman Returns at the time when I was a kid. I actually think I remember even finishing it, which was rare for me at the time. But
it's a short book.
I guess so. Yeah, I was 8? So yeah, those are my quick Batman Returns memories.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this is a message I got from Paul, who runs BatmanOnline.com, and this was about the Carl Newman interview I did. He said, "Hi Ben, just listening to your awesome interview with Carl Newman. The confusion you both were having over the date of the cast and crew screening of August 6th, I think can be answered by the UK releasing being August 11th, 1989, and obviously the screening was in London." So to give full context, Carl and I were a little confused because he was showing me the invites to the cast and crew screening from August 6th, and I was just like, wait, the movie was released in June 23rd. So the cast and crew screening was after the release of the movie, and he was just like, I don't know, but it was definitely beforehand. But it was definitely beforehand for the UK. The UK got it in August 11th, 1989, and I brought this up to Carl. I showed Paul's insight to Carl, and I was talking to him about how, like, it was such simpler times that you could release a major movie like this months later and not have to worry about spoilers, because there's no fucking way this would happen now, where you're just like, you're gonna get it in like 2 months, and like, internet piracy is gonna not gonna affect anything, or it's just spoilers being on YouTube. Like, they didn't have to deal with that in '89. It was just literally like, oh, America's gonna get it in June 23rd, we're gonna get it in August. I guess nobody ruins the movie in like the next couple of months, because like the only way that you have communication between the two is if you literally know somebody, or
call England. Like, it's just didn't happen at the time. It's
nobody's gonna call England just to drop Batman spoilers.
Yeah, like it just, I could see that happening. I mean, it was across the pond, and well, yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only thing in the list. It was across the pond. It's just too fucking far. And B was 92. So like, yeah,
or 89 it's here, yeah,
or 89, yeah, 89. Sorry, yeah.
So it's not a time for like, there's no YouTube here where you can just be like, I don't want to see somebody do some like cell phone cam footage of Batman punching Joker off the cathedral. Like, this didn't exist.
Ben, you and I are the age where we do remember a time with absolutely no internet.
Yes.
I mean, we got it we had the internet by 98, so we were in like middle schools, so we had early version by then, but before 98, like, around that time, like, there was nothing. So like, we sort of remember it, but like I don't know. It's just the world's changed so much.
Right?
Like, England doesn't seem, the whole world's smaller. Like, I'm sure at this time, it's just, it was like,
it's a different
you
time.
could release it almost at any time.
Yeah.
No
way now. No way.
Yeah.
All right, so there was that, and then this was funny. This is a comment from Will Moore on our episode on the Batman novelization, saying, joins live stream. When he unzips his pants, he sees platinum. He says, oh.
Nice. That's about Manscaped.
Johnson's ballsack, Will Moore.
Yeah.
Go get it at manscaped.com. 20% off.
20% off. For the love of God.
You should know what's up by now if you're joining our live streams consistently.
That's true.
So this comes from David S. on Facebook. This was about our conversation about the phrase about walk so they could run in the Batman novelization episode. He said, quote, the phrase walk so they could run is about evolution, crawl to walk to run. So that's his explanation for why
it does make sense. I was reading it the total wrong way, or a different way at least.
Yeah, as I brought up, I was like, I could see it go either way, but I think it just depends on like what you think the purpose of the interpretation is.
I just saw it as the previous generation worked really hard, so we don't have to work as hard as they did.
Gotcha.
So run, and then we walk. But I might have taken that the wrong way. So there's that.
So those are the fan comments. Over to the fan shoutouts. I'm going to go over here.
Oh, yeah. We're all backwards like now.
Spicing it
up. We want to thank everybody on the Patreon. These are the $1 tier people or above here on the board. And we'll read off some of the newer people. So we want to thank Halsey C., Maurice D., Jonathan, Robert H., R.D., Decade VV, Josh M., Benjamin V., Chris F., Michael S., MetaGeek, Chuck ATWT, and Yuli. So, yeah, thanks everybody, and thanks to our other supporters as well. They're up on the board here. We want to thank our people again at the $1 tier. That gets you the shout out on the board there. The $5 tier gets you a whole other show. This show right here is free. It's on YouTube. It's on every Monday. But the $5 tier show is on every Friday, and it's on our Patreon, patreon.com/superherostuffpod. We have been growing in numbers. Thank you everybody for joining us. We've had an uptick lately in that, which is awesome. And I'm glad everybody's liking the show there. Thank you always to Ben as well for the Batman tutelage. Of
course.
Keeping the show running. So I want to thank the $10 tier people as well. The $10 tier is our monthly meetup. We actually just had it as of this recording, but it's at the end of every month. Usually on a Thursday or Friday. You can meet with us in a Zoom-like environment, and we just kind of basically shoot the shit. But there's also a topic at hand. There's reactions that we do as well and things like that. So that's the $10 tier, and you can, of course, the way Patreon works is if you join $10 tier, you also get the $5 and $1 tier benefits and everything like that. So you always get the benefits below tier benefits as well. So please join us there on Patreon. So go to also get our merch.
Please get our merch.
Please be the one. I feel bad making fun of our own fucking merch, but in some sense,
making fun of the sale is not what it is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, making fun of the sales. I do want to get new merch at some point, but anyway, if you want to get this merch before we stop, that's a way we could sell it.
Limited time.
It will be limited. Once we get new artwork, we're gonna cycle that stuff out. So superhousepod.redbubble.com, superherostuffpod.threadless.com. We got all kinds of shit there. The typical stuff: mugs, shirts, shower curtains, Ben Man, Indeed Wizard, and Zacula, that other guy. He's on there at the moment. Anyway. Stefan Santa Cruz. The artwork is by Stefan Santa Cruz, a.k.a. Wolfie, former host of the show, co-host of the show. And then, please send us some audio to superhousepodcast@gmail.com. I am Thunderwolf Drew on Instagram and Twitter. Thunderwolf lives on YouTube. ThunderwolfDrew.com as my portfolio, all the stuff you can see there. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. And then it has everything but all my stuff except for amanorecon.com. That's AMANORECON.com. It's an original idea, but the main influence is the elevator pitch is R-rated Stranger Things meets Power Rangers. A little bit of X-Files in there as well. And we're getting really close. We're gonna have something at some point, but we might do a film festival run. We're gonna see what we can do with that before we premiere it on for Indiegogo and everything. So that's kind of our new development, but we'll see how that goes. But we just feel like we worked so hard on it. We wanted to have like a film festival run, at least a couple screenings. You know,
Nice.
like horror film fest and stuff like that. Short film fest. It's like 4 minutes long, so like, you know, it's definitely in the short film category. So artwork by Zachary Jackson Brown. So check out his art. Search for him, and that's it for me, Ben.
Shout out to Comic Capital on Instagram, as well as the Everything Entertainment Club on Clubhouse. You can follow our social media. On Twitter, we're Superhouse Pod. Instagram, Superhero Stuff Pod, where you can send over those pictures of Penguin, Catwoman, Batman, or anything from that night at the Batman Returns event. We'd love to see more of it. On TikTok, Superhero Stuff Pod. Vero, Superhero Stuff Pod.
Snyder, can you hear me?
Yes.
Snyder, can you hear me? That's Ben on
on Vero, yes.
on Vero. We're just trying to get Snyder's attention because it's like 3 people on there. It's like actually possible. It's Snyder and all the Snyder
all his
people.
friends, yes.
Citrone and fucking everybody.
Ray
dude.
Fisher, yeah.
Ray Fisher's on. Oh, you know Ray Fisher's on there.
Yes. My website is benwanrider.com, where you can read my Gotham script, Gotham Vampire, where young Bruce faces off against the Mad Monk, as well as Elementary, the death of Sherlock Holmes, a modern update on the classic story, The Adventure of the Dying Detective, and Curb Your Enthusiasm, Disneyland, the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode they could never make, where Larry goes to Disneyland and tries not to piss off Mickey Mouse. My YouTube channel is in the description below, where you can also check out Doctor Who, The Rodent of Time, an audio drama I write, narrate, and edit, thumbnail by our assistant Dan, where basically the 8th Doctor meets Miyamoto Musashi in ancient Japan. My Instagram is benwanrider. My son's Instagram is Alfie Pennyworth Cat. Yes, my son, Alfie, the other cat. If you have another cat, or Alfie, or Peanuts, or any of the cats that we've talked about on this podcast, then you need to get them the Whisker Box, the only cat box for the crazy cat lady and gent. And if you have a dog, that's okay too, because you can also get the Bark Box, y'all. Give your dog exactly what they want with the Bark Box. You can use our promo link. Basically, you get the first month off, valued at $35. You get that month off for free, valued at $35. And you can get that promo link. Go ahead.
I just had an idea.
Yes.
If you do this via us, take a picture with your, if you want, of course.
Yes.
I mean, of course, it's voluntary. But anyway, take a picture of your pet, whether Whisker Box or Bark Box, your cat or your dog, maybe with some Batman stuff in the background with your pet.
Ah, yes.
And whatever you got from Bark Box or Whisker Box. And then tag us. What could the tag be, Ben? On Instagram or Twitter.
Oh, I mean, if you mean they're tagging our account, or you mean like
tagging us so we know.
Tag us at Superhero Stuff Pod. Yes.
Yeah.
And let us know.
Yeah.
Just make sure not to dye your dog pink. Like
Don't dye your dog pink.
Adventure.
PETA's gonna tear your door down. You shouldn't do it anyway, even if PETA's not around.
You know, Etsy sells those batarangs, the remote control batarangs.
Yeah.
For Batman Returns. So if anyone has a poodle and wants to have their poodle cosplay as that poodle, get that one from Etsy and just put it in their mouth and take a picture and tag us at Superhero Stuff Pod. I'd love to see that. You might ruin that Etsy thing, so maybe get 2 of them just in case.
Just make sure the dog's cool with it. We don't want to be, yeah.
Make sure it's safe to put in a dog's mouth.
Yeah.
But anyway, do whatever is best for your dog and is safe for your dog, and get the Bark Box for them. Available through superherostuffpod.com/shop, where you can get all sorts of stuff. You can get Amazon affiliate links to stuff like the Michael Keaton 89 Funko that I brought up before. I see here we also got a Funko for the Ezra Miller Flash. We might be changing that up.
We're going to be removing that one post haste. Forgive us for
exchanging that with Grant Gustin's.
Yeah, forgive us for not already having done so.
And outside of the shop,
little oopsie on that one.
It's not like anyone's buying anything from this anyway. But
no one, they might.
Let us know as well.
They did with Manscaped.
That leads us to the next one, Manscaped.
Yes.
Some of you have been using this promo code, at least as we've been told, and some of you are going platinum, at least we hope. So unzip your pants, as Will discovered. As Will discovered in the comments section, unzip your pants and reveal platinum to.
Don't tag us on that one.
Don't, Ted. Please don't.
Just say you bought it in text.
Yes. Yes. Text is fine. 20% off plus free shipping using the promo code Johnson's Ballsack at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping. Johnson's Ballsack at manscaped.com. Sorry, promo code Johnson's Ballsack at manscaped.com. That's not an email address.
If you shaved your stash on your face, facial hair into a bat symbol, tag us, please.
Please do, yes.
You can use this, obviously, it's fucking ball sack and shit. So you can use it for the other stuff, but
yeah,
obviously, for Instagram, for your face, please tag us for those pictures and say, you can use the hashtag. Well, actually, maybe not use the hashtag in Instagram for the promo code. But anyway, use Superhouse Pod. Tag us. Try to find us on Instagram and share your photos if you've gotten it through us. But yeah, if you want to make your dick seem bigger, because first impressions are everything, y'all.
Yes.
And even 400th impressions if you're married. You can't have a fucking big ass bush outside of your briefs. Indeed. You gotta keep. You got this. This is my favorite part of the show, guys. You gotta keep that shit tight.
Yes.
In the fucking underoos, you know what I'm saying?
Trim your bush, yes.
Trim your goddamn bush.
And what better way than keeping it platinum with a platinum package 4.0?
Yes, 20% off, man, and free shipping. For the love of God.
Please do.
You got to do it.
For the sake of your balls and your marriage or relationship or whatever you're in.
Yes,
for
yes.
For their sake, please do.
For their sake. His, her, or their sake. Please.
Yes.
I guess that's going to do it. And we want you to do us a favor.
We want you to tell all your friends about us.
Give me a Batman Returns line. I'm drawing a fucking blank. Meow.
Things change.
There we go.
You don't really think you'll win, do you?